Alright guys, here's an update on this truck. I've been kind of blowing and going. I got the console pretty much erected. The only thing that I've got to do now is build some filler panels, the kick panel stuff to hide the air conditioning box. So you can kind of see the shape of the console. It's kind of a little bit sucked in this way here. But what I'm going to do here is I'll build a kick panel on this side, and right here it'll have like a flange that will just get pop riveted to the other side, and it'll have a flange. And then this panel here that's going to come down and go and hide all this here, these get velcroed with some it's called hook and loop. We use it in the industry, but that'll hold this panel on. And then inside here he's got his vents, and then obviously this is the console. On the other side, since I've got all the AC and stuff mounted, I got the bulkheads in for the firewall, and the line's pretty much pre-made. But on this side, there's a lot going on. So my panel that's going to come right over the steering column is actually going to come right in the way of the brake to hide the brake mount, and then I'll cut a groove in it so the arm could travel. But you could see how the AC box will be kind of hidden, and there's the console that'll be a focal point. And then the seat actually sits a little bit above this. And then what we're going to do in here is we're going to put his shifter, which is, it's an automatic, but it's going to be a floor shifter. And then I'm going to put power window switches in here. And then over here, probably on the side, I'm going to use electric door locks because the solenoids and stuff in the back, because it's shaved. And then up front he'll have other switches, and he's thinking about running switches for ignition and stuff like that. So I've been moving on that. On the back of the chassis, the factory bar was here. You can kind of see where I grounded, and it only allowed us to have an 11-gallon fuel cell. So what I ended up doing, I took a brace so the frame rails wouldn't move. I cut that one out and I tacked it to the back. At that point I moved to the front where I already measured out where I was going to put a new one, and I had to lower it because this one could only be as the same height. On the bottom side I welded in thread-in bungs so the straps will go to the gas tank. That's what he wanted. I told him I could put flanges on the side of the tank and it bolt in from the side so you don't see any straps, and he said he didn't care. He said I'd rather have the straps. So I got those in, and then I got these tabs on for the brake fittings, and this will be hard lined to the black end cap, and then from there steel braided line will go straight to the caliper. And instead of running it around the rear end, to me I think that kind of looks, it's not innovative. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run the main brake line down here. It's going to go under this cross member with a T and shoot over to that side, and then it'll hard line and come over to this side as well. So looking underneath, you won't see any brake lines on the rear end. The only thing you're going to see is a brake hose going from the caliper to that fitting. So now that I'm on that, the next step, I'm going to start assembling this bed, getting the bed kind of erected, and then I've got to do some work on a running board. And then from that point, we are pretty much going to disassemble, and I'm going to get the chassis off to powder coat, and then at that time I'll go in and I'll finish anything in the cab. Now that I have the air conditioning and the wiper motor, the fuse panel, the console, the e-brake, all that stuff kind of mounted, I kind of know where it goes. I'll come back, finish the chassis, get brake lines, motor dropped in, the whole nine, and then put all this stuff back on, and then start running wires and stuff like that. I did also, we took a 56 Ford bumper, and it's usually straight, if some of you guys are familiar with that. And what I ended up doing is, let's see if I could hold this so I could show you the fitment of it. gonna be hard to tell. So anyway, what I ended up doing, I took this stock bumper and I pie cut a bunch of it and I bent it to the radius of, as you could see, the truck. Then what I did is I laid that down because it kind of held its structure. I held it on a piece of 1/8" plate. That's how thick that bumper is. And I traced it out. And I actually cut out all my pie cuts and I actually welded in a seam. As you can see, I welded in a whole piece with the arc already built into it. And then I metal finished it and ground it down. So with that bumper there, I'll kind of show you. It fits pretty well and I'm gonna tight tuck it. So it's gonna fit pretty good to the truck now instead of being a flat bumper. Something a little bit different, but that's what he got. The back doesn't get a bumper because it has a roll pin. So most of the stuff it's just cosmetic, but I try to tell people, you gotta build these cars twice. You build them in this state, get all the custom, get everything mounted, get everything done. After that, when it goes and gets all the lipstick and all that stuff, paint, bodywork, stuff like that, when it comes back, it makes shops like mine and people like me, makes life way easier because all you do is you start bolting stuff on. And it makes it a lot easier to do it that way because I had to weld in mounts in the firewall and stuff like that. As you can see, all the burn marks in the firewall, those are all me welding in an AC bracket, stuff like that. And this is the time to do it. I mean, he's not painting the truck, but when he does go to paint it, all he's got to do is rip all the stuff out of it and he knows right where to put it back. So hope you guys like this update. Like I said, I'm gonna start on the bed and I'll have a video on that because I think we're gonna end up welding it, but they didn't want to run the stake pocket, so I think I'm gonna have to build my own stake pocket on the inside so the bed actually stays square and it's not flopping around back by the tailgate. So stay tuned. If you're not a subscriber, go over there and subscribe, and I'll kind of show you there's never a problem, there's always a solution. So if it has to be done and a little bit of hard work, kind of like what I did back here, it's got to be done and it's got to be done right. So go ahead and cut it out or figure out another way to do it if something's not lining up or not working right for you. So hope you guys like this video. You guys stay tuned and I will keep you guys updated.